This is the sort of thing I'm thinking about, but the problem is that I'm just going to put it there and it's out of the way. The problem is that that's too narrow. I'd need to alter it, which means I'd need to basically cut the metal, but I'm thinking really I need to just basically buy more angle, because I need to make the whole thing. And also it really does need to be a tripod. I'll just tack that on underneath just so that I can see what it's like. It seems okay like that, to be honest, but I think it needs a wider stance. Yeah, because I can move that around, you know, even though this is not stuck to it. That axle stand isn't stuck to it. No. So we've got some steel. I think these are 7 meters box section, and also you can see there. I don't know if the light will work, but we've got 5 lengths of about 6 meters in an angle. So I need to do a design now, so we can make something using those wheels and these bits of metal. Yeah, for that basically, because if we can wheel that body around, gets it off the the lift. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, need to design something. So just a small one, because I'm trying to get back into the metalworking, because I've not done it for absolutely ages. So I got the plasma cutter out, and these 3 wheels were on that base. You can see where I've obviously removed them, and I need to construct a tripod that can go under there. I'm not going to be doing it today because it's gone dark, but I've had a bit of a tidy up so that I can get into it as well. And obviously the cutter works. I've checked the wheels and they do still rotate, as in, you know, oops, sorry, they do still go, so it hasn't damaged them welding them on, even though I welded them pretty close to the bearing tracks. The steel that these are made of must be a lot harder than the mild steel that I'm using for this. So I need to basically construct a tripod, and the problem I've got is basically that I've got my metal buried under there now. So I'm going to have to pull out a section and then cut it. So I'm going to have to pull my miter saw out and cut the sections, and so I need to make sure that I get the right sections. Basically I need a triangle which is going to be of a certain size, which I haven't worked out yet, and the height I've measured from this gave me the height from the wheels to the top here, so I can actually set up a diagram basically, so I can get all the lengths sorted out. It's basically 6 pieces. There's the 3 for the triangle base, and then there's going to be the 3 that go up to support that. Yeah, and I have to make it big enough essentially so that the turning circle of the caster doesn't interfere. So I can't make it like that size, I have to make it bigger, and basically so that the actual wheel doesn't go so far in that it goes in under the pivot, you see, under the centre of gravity essentially of the point that it's trying to support, you know. But if I make it wide enough, then I think I'll be alright. Yeah. So this is I just basically cut sections off that. You can see that I've got the saw there still. This section here is 225, and this section along here, this is 250. Now I've made a slight boo-boo, because if the wheels are like that, the centre of gravity is only just beyond the point where it's connecting to the chassis. So yeah, so it is possible that it could tip. You know, if it catches something there, basically it might make it tip. So I'd have to obviously be very careful. Really, I should have made this base bigger. What I was trying to do is get these to be 45 degrees. They're actually not. No, they're more like 30 degrees for some reason, because my diagram was showing them at being at 45 degrees, but I think it's because the way that they assemble there, I haven't got quite right in the diagram. So in other words, I could splay that out. So if I make another one, the main issue, of course, is because I wanted to make sure that the caster point there was in line with this. Now, it's bloody heavy now. Now, as you can see, the water is because I had to cool it down. But what I did is I had to make sure that these points here were welded on solidly. You see, so you can see there's an awful lot of metal there. Because these are the bits that are going to get ripped off, these bits here, this section here, because the wheel will be out like this. If it's in, then basically it's kind of, if it's in like that, then the most of the weight is actually still on this side, basically. But if it's over on that way, then the weight is pulling that away. And so I had to make sure they were welded on hard. And there's two different types of steel, so, and they're not that much different. And I just wound the bloody, I just wound the welder up a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's on. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to fall off, is it? And I just did it a bit higgledy-piggledy and kind of hand added the, oh wow, that one's, no it's not, yeah. Aye, but it's there, and it's kind of a first pass, and if I have to end up throwing it away, well, I've got more wheels. And these wheels, these 3 wheels here, I actually cut off because I put 3 on there, so I've used those. These ones have already been welded on, and as you can see, they still caster properly and everything, so I don't think there's a problem. Yeah. So yeah. But the problem is if I've got that centre wrong and then I push it kind of that way, it's liable to fall over because you can see where the wheel is. Yeah. Let's bring it over a bit. Yeah, and of course sod's law is it's going to find that bit. Yeah, you can see where the wheel contracts the ground there is almost underneath the point, isn't it? So I didn't realise that was going to happen. Yeah, but we'll see. I'll just have to be very careful. I mean, it's for this, and mainly I'm going to be pushing it this way, so I'm just going to have to mainly make sure that it's kind of pointing this way like that. Yeah, so I don't know, but it's possible that I might need to make a bigger one, as in width-wise. Yeah, it needs these wheels. It could probably get away with smaller wheels, but it needs, each of those wheels I think can take 500 kilos. Yeah. So essentially you need at least 2 of those to take the weight of a corner, because each corner is a ton on this, or it was when the batteries were full. It hasn't got a full set of batteries, so right now it's okay. Yeah, so I can get away with smaller ones, but I bought these ones, and I think these were about like 60 quid each or something, these wheels. So that's 180 quid's worth of wheels. Or something, plus the well, the steel wasn't much. No, it's probably about, you know, sort of like a tenner's worth of steel. Yeah, but that's what we're trying to do. Now, what I was going to do was actually make them to carry this and have a one up here, but unfortunately I don't have the width here to make a proper tripod. So the only way I could do that is to have like 2 here, like 1, 2, and then a triangle up, and then a bar across, and another 2 over there, and then some strengthening parts as well. But I don't know if I was going to transport that separately. But the problem is the height, because the roof slopes down. So I can't do it at that height. It would obviously have to be lower. But I don't know what the height difference is. I can measure it, because you can see, if you look at the brick line there, you can trace it along. So it's like about 4 or 5 bricks high. So whatever the height of a brick is times 4 or 5, then that'll be the height. And it'll probably drop down there. From there down to sort of there is probably about that height. So it probably will. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to leave that one at today, because I've got to get the yep. That's it. I've got to get the obviously I've got to get the jack, so I can jack it. Oh, and that's actually off the ground, isn't it? Yeah, so it will go down onto it. Yeah. because what happens is I'm going to put this one under here, and I might even just tack it on, and then we'll use that wheel, and the two front wheels are there anyway. So yeah. So you see, this is obviously I've done this in Blender. The thing I'm not allowed for is the caster of the wheel. These are on this side, but the caster of this wheel I think is actually somewhere over here. So the actual contact with the ground is actually here, which is actually under the point at which, or almost under, as if it were. So what I need to do, I suppose, if I'm going to make this diagram correct, is I'm going to have to actually allow for the caster, and then I can then do the diagram correctly. These are supposed to be 45 degrees. There's Y, 45 degrees. This one is supposed to be 45 degrees, and you can see it's an actual tripod. Yeah. But I think if I make another one, it's going to have to be wider, because the actual angle isn't 45 degrees, I don't think. It's actually much shallower because of the way that these insert. I think I possibly got these wrong. And also, oh yeah, there it is. It's the way they interlace at the top. I've not actually done that correctly, have I? No. Because the points are there, aren't they? Whereas they can't, obviously. I mean, I could cut them, obviously, to make them interlace like that, but I just didn't. I just stuck it together, didn't I? And the top is actually quite wide. The points are actually quite wide, which is the reason why the incline isn't that. It's actually much steeper. Yeah, it's not made any difference really to the height. It still fits in the position I put it in. I set this bar in order to measure the pieces. Where did I set that bar to? Yeah, so location. There you go. Z location, 400 millimeters. So that height from there to the ground is 40 centimeters essentially. Now, if I measure the height of that, it's going to be in the region of 40 centimeters. Yeah, the actual height that I need to do, because what I did is I measured the height of this, and then I've got the height of that, which I think is like 220 or something, or perhaps 200. So this height is roughly the same as this height. So it's, I don't know. I might make another one that's got more, where the wheels are further apart. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah.